Yay, so we get to work on the hair. So the deal with the hair is you want to go with the direction that the hair is turning. You're going to have to pay close attention to the direction because it goes in more than one way. On the top of the head, it's kind of pulled up and back, and on the side, it's kind of curved to the side. So just look at the direction of the strands of hair. And you're not singling them out as individual strands, although you will to some degree, you're going to generalize. So I'm looking at the direction of the hair. I'm trying to get strokes that mimic the direction of the hair there. And keep in mind that it's going to be darker hair on the sides, lighter on the top, and that's because the light is hitting more on the top of the head rather than on the sides. You want to look for shadow areas within the hair itself. There are shadows, there are midtones, and there are highlights. So we're just focusing on the shadows and kind of the mid-tone area. And with this person who we're drawing, the hair is a little bit darker than the skin tone on the top, and then it's pretty dark on the sides. And that's true of most people. Most people are going to have hair that's a value darker at least than their skin tone. Okay, so still working on trying to get the texture of the hair. Again, looking closely at the reference, getting some kind of flyaway hairs there at the top of the head. I think it's kind of fun to have some messy hair. You may have noticed that I'm into that. And she has some flyaways kind of on the side of her head. Her hair looks like it's loosely pulled back away from her face. So remember, you want to avoid spaghetti head. You don't want hair to look like spaghetti. You want it to have the texture of hair. So we are going to be going in here to the hair in a moment, and we'll be erasing out some of the highlights. If you look at your reference, there's some highlights on the left. It's actually her right. And there's some highlights in the center that we'll be erasing out, and you can redraw them in with the white chalk pastel. So here's where we're starting to erase, and you can draw with your eraser. You just have to pinch it to a point, and then you go with the direction that the hair is going. So these are curving hairs, so you want to pay attention to the curve. And you kind of redraw and define them a little bit around them, around those highlights. All right, so here's where I start to go in with the white. And remember, I'm looking for places where light is striking the face. So the middle of the forehead is white. There's little patches of white here. There's white on the bridge of the nose, or just below the bridge of the nose. Going to the eye, working on the upper lid there. And this is all done pretty fast, so you don't have to sit and watch me do every single one. Again, you're looking for any area where there is light striking. It should be significant light. And you still want the gray of the paper to act as a value too. You don't want to lose the gray of the paper. You don't want it to look all white, all red, no gray. You want that gray to show through. It'll save you more effort too. So that paper has a purpose, that gray paper. So getting a little bit on the right down the center of the nose, especially on the tip of the nose, ball of the nose, getting those highlights in there. And I finessed this for a while. Here's what it looks like when I'm mostly done. There's probably still more stuff I can do, but I worked on the mouth a little bit more. There's a highlight on the lower lip. There's a significant highlight on just above the upper lip there, right in between the nose and the upper lip. There's a big highlight there. I worked on trying to turn the head a little bit more so it looks a little bit more 3D. And yeah, I'm still fine tuning things. And I did put some highlights in the hair, and it's probably hard to see, but there are some highlights there as well. So here's pretty much where I've left off. And I'll zoom out so you kind of see it a little bit better. So just doing some finishing touches to it. It's probably could still use a little bit more work, but it's at a good point right now, which is good because that means when we return, we can work on the profile. Profile's fun. I want to say it's a little bit easier than the front of the face, but don't worry, there's a challenge coming up after that. The 3/4. I actually am a huge fan of 3/4. I think 3/4 is the most inviting of all the poses. And that was popularized by Da Vinci. Most paintings before then were from the front or from the profile. 3/4 was kind of innovative. Okay, and we're just going to go ahead and stop there.